Panther Magazine, the Panther Platform lookbook and the official publication for the Panther Platform. What's up everyone, it's Derek McCarthy, the founder and CEO of Panther Magazine. Thanks for checking out the Panther Magazine YouTube channel. In the car world, there's a lot of different type of car enthusiasts. You have the Corvette people, the static world, the JDM world, and a lot more. But the best and the coolest enthusiasts are us, the people that love the Panther Platform. Based off a post that was made on the Panther Magazine social media platforms, I was able to curate a list of pros and cons of the Panther Platform. Nice looking Panther there as I'm making this video. It's not a long list, but there seems to be more pros than cons when it comes to these V8 sedans that were produced by Ford Motor Company. I'm currently on my 5th Panther. Right here is my 2003 Mercury Grand Marquis GS. This is Panther number 5 for me, and let's get right into this video. So a couple of the pros that a lot of people in the Panther Platform community listed, I guess you can say, was the reliability of the car itself and the reliability of the engine. Personally, I can't speak enough about how reliable these cars are. I mean, I'm on my 5th one again. I did suspension on this car, I think back in April or March, so I can drive from Massachusetts to Michigan. For me, I hosted in Dearborn, and I really haven't touched the car since then, not brakes or anything like that, and the car is not giving me problems. I mean, I need brakes, but I mean, the car is running strong still. And as far as engine reliability, it's not often you hear somebody needs to replace the engine in a Panther unless they found it from the junkyard and the engine's bad. I mean, I've had to replace the engine on my first Panther. I don't remember the reason why, but I mean, that was the only time I ever had engine problems, and I don't know a lot of people that do have engine problems. So engine reliability is really solid on these cars. The next con on the list, number 2, the good old comfort of the Panther Platform car is another pro that a lot of people couldn't start ranting and raving about. I drive a Grand Marquis. I've owned 4 Grand Marquis and 1 Crown Vic, and all of them were super comfortable. It's hard to get out of these cars, you know, after you park, especially after a long road trip or a long day at work. The comfort in these cars is just, you can't beat it. Next up, we have the trunk space. Man, oh man, the trunk space in the Panther Platform car. As you guys can see, I have a huge table back here. I don't know the exact dimensions. Shout out to G at One Bad Panther from Philly Panther Meats. I have my normal table that I take to meets, but I also have this one here. That's in there. I have a beach chair, cone, some parts, full size spare tire, and I think that's a 12. I got a 12-inch subwoofer back here as well. So this trunk fits a lot of stuff. I forgot to mention, along with the comfort of the car, is the space in the car. A lot of people said that these cars have a lot of great space inside of them. I can agree. I'm 6'3.5". I have so much room in that car. It's great. But at the same time, there's people that think the car isn't big enough on the inside. So I guess that's a pro and a con of the Panther Platform. Next is the parts for these cars. These parts are really easy to get at junkyards. And if you're thinking aftermarket, we have ADTR, for example. Mo's Speed Shop does all the tuning and stuff like that. So parts are really easy to get on these cars. The con to that some people said, is modifying Panthers can be really expensive. But I think that's any car really, but I mean, these cars are a lot bigger. And I'm pretty sure there's other reasons why, but some people think they can get a bit expensive to mod, but parts for these cars are really easy. And like I said in other videos, you can put Mustang parts in these cars. And depending on the year of the Grand Marquis you have, you can put Mercury Marauder parts on these cars as well. So next is how cheap these cars can be. You can still find them really cheap. I'm still seeing Panthers for $1,200, $1,500 or less. But at the same time, the con of that is that the prices are going up. So it's kind of hard to find a good Panther around the old prices before people decided they wanted to start buying them. Now people are kind of taxing for them. But you can still find these at really good prices. So that's kind of the pros and cons. I mentioned this in another video, but if you have the patience for it and you really do your research, you can find one. But at the same time, they are getting kind of expensive. Next is the intake manifold. Is really easy to find. That was one of the pros. As you all may know, I made a post on this channel and the Panther magazine social media profiles that Ford Performance just re-released the P71 intake. So I mean, you can find the intakes, plus now they just re-released that here in 2024. So Chris from ADTR Performance is gonna have those for sale, so be sure to keep checking his website and all that stuff. But yeah, intake manifolds are really easy to find for these cars. And the last pro that I have written down, at least due to the post that I made, is the maintenance. The maintenance is really easy on these cars. I mean, I seen something crazy on Instagram today, actually, that somebody's starter was inside the transmission. The mechanic had to take the transmission out just to replace the starter because the starter was in the transmission. And on these cars, you obviously don't have those type of problems. So maintenance is really easy on these cars. Everything's pretty much nuts and bolts, excuse me. There's really no computers and stuff. So fixing these cars is definitely a pro. Now we're gonna move on to the cons list, which isn't that long, but there are some cons that people feel come with the Panther platform. Next is the gas mileage. Considering that these cars are big V8 sedans, I feel like they do pretty good on gas personally, but at the same time they do drink gas, you know. But I mean, the gas mileage could be better, but we are driving V8s in their sedans and not compact cars, so you know, gas mileage. But what are you gonna do, not put gas in the car, you know? Another con of the Panther platform, the length of the car. Even though some people do love the length of the Panther platform, which comes with the comfort and the size of the interior, they think the turning radius on these cars are not that good. But I mean, these are land yachts, these are boats, so that's kind of what comes with driving these cars. Next on the cons list, we have the lack of horsepower coming from this V8. These cars are what we like to say in the Panther platform community, they're low and slow. These aren't fast cars. They're pretty fast for their size, and people that aren't into cars, they're pretty fast, but to us that are into these cars are really slow. But I mean, I don't even know what else to say to that. I mean, there's people supercharging the cars and such like that. So there is alternatives to making the car a little bit faster and giving it more horsepower. But the car is really slow originally though. Depending on where you live, the rust on these cars, man, can get crazy, which is one of the cons, is the rust. Living up here in the Northeast, finding these cars with no rust on them is really hard. But luckily, this car doesn't have a lot of rust. My last Crown Vic didn't have any rust. The Merc I had before that one didn't have any rust. The Aero I had before that didn't have any rust. And my first Panther didn't have any rust. So I've gotten really lucky with the 5 Panthers I've gotten. This has a little rust on the fender that I showed you guys in other videos, but there's cars out there here in the Northeast where it snows and stuff. The mileage is real low, the body is nice, the interior is nice, but underneath is all rusty. It's freaking crazy. So the rust, these cars rust a lot. Around the fenders and the quarter panel is where you find rust the most, and underneath as well. So just like any other car, but there's a lot of rust on these cars that can come with owning the Panther. Something I'm not too knowledgeable about, but somebody mentioned that the upper radiator hose melts the airbox and causes the Panther to stall if it's left on too long. That's one of the cons. I'm not too knowledgeable about that. That sounds like a serious problem. You don't want the car to stall ever, so that's one of the cons of the Panther platform as well. The last con I have is another under the hood problem. The top bolt on the starter, people say that gives them problems all the time. I've never really had that problem. Again, I know how to work under the hood. I can do a little bit of things, but I do have my friend Andrew who helps me out. So I'm not familiar with that either, but that seems to be a con with these cars. So that's pretty much the list of cons of the Panther platform. So that's the pros and cons of the Panther platform based off what the Panther platform community gave me in the comment section on a couple of posts I made. I can agree with a lot of those things, and again, a couple of those things I wasn't too knowledgeable about, but now I do have a little bit of knowledge and I can do my research as well. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Leave your comments on what you think the pros and cons of the Panther platform is. And I want to give a big shout out to Panther Platform here on YouTube. He made a video similar to this. I had the idea and I went and searched it to see if anybody else made videos, and he had one of them. It was really good. I'll leave the link to that video in the description, and I hope to see you guys on the next video.